Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa la ilaha illallah, Allahu Akbar. Today we're starting again with a new chapter. That's chapter 22, the Hajj, or the pilgrimage. And as we know, the Quran, the book of Allah, the book of the Lord of the heavens and earth, is very connected. We stopped the chapter 21, was talking about the prophets, talking about the messengers, talking about these role models, talking about their trials, talking about their tests, and how we can take lessons from these tests, from these examples, and implement them in our lives. Now, the conversation ended at that chapter with the people are in a state of, you can say, making their mind. They're not believers, they're listening to the Prophet Muhammad alayhi. They listen to the message, but they're not making their mind yet. Same thing around our times right now. Same things in our times right now. What happened? People hearing about Islam. Some people are hearing the negatives and dismissing Islam. On the other hand, some people are listening and hearing about Islam. They read the Quran. They even deal with Muslims around them. But they're not making their mind. They still, oh, it looks good. But they can't take the step to embrace that faith, to embrace that religion, to become a Muslim, to become a surrenderer, to become a believer. And as we mentioned so many times before, that Muslims, or what you see is a lot of actions coming out of Muslims doesn't present Islam, has nothing to do with Islam. That's what's happening. A lot of that stuff happening in the so-called Muslim countries, tyrannical regimes, tyrannical rulers, imprisoning people for saying their opinions, the amount of corruption, amount of stealing, amount of bribery, all this has nothing to do with Islam. This is part of something called hypocrisy. Same thing here you have in all the religions. You have in the Christian faith, Joe Osteen, for example, Houston. Well, how much is his net worth? 150, 160 million dollars. Then when he was asked, when the time a hurricane hit Texas, oh, can the people take a shelter at your place? What did he say? He refused. There's a lot of people in his congregation are struggling. Will he be giving them money to help them? Or he's only collecting? Hypocrisy. We have another preacher in Brooklyn being convicted for stealing money from his congregation. He has on him, he's wearing $1 million of gold. So what is it? Does it is people took the religion as a business in all the religions, because they are just the same human being. The problem is not what you profess, what you say. It's what are your actions. Because actions are more stronger, they are more truthful than words, than the lip service. And that's what's happening right now is, yes, Islam is the truth. Islam is the what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what the Lord of the heaven and earth want everybody to believe in. But unfortunately, yes, there's some people taking this religion as business. And people who are looking into Islam, they have to understand and they have to filter, they have to evaluate, they have to know, and they have to see. That's why we're explaining the Quran, to take these misconceptions that there is a lot of people will say we're Muslims, but they had nothing to do with Islam. And that's very important to understand when everybody is looking at the religion of Islam. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continuing the narrative here about wake up, the wake up call. Wake up, we are coming to the end. Or as we mentioned before, your life, when it comes to an end, you're done. Your exam is done. You can't come back. Like you said, on a computer screen, when you were doing your test, time expired. What happened? Test is done. You can go back to change your answers. And that's exactly what's happening. Allah keep telling us that the day of judgment will be tough. The day of judgment will be tough. I sent prophets and messengers to tell you what to do and what you're supposed to do. This surah, Al-Haj, pilgrimage, which was named with this name, we'll know that. I don't want to go into a lot of details, but we'll know the meaning, why it's that, because it has verses related to the Hajj or pilgrimage later on. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is continuing the narrative of the day judgment. Then the first verse is saying, Ya ayyuhan nasu ittaqu rabbakum inna zalzalat as-sa'ati shay'un 'azim. Oh people, everybody, fear your Lord. Fear your Lord. Everybody. This is a general call for everybody. Fear your Lord. Look for the right textbook. Which textbook God want me will judge people according to that textbook right now, at this time. It's the Quran. Look for it, embrace it, learn what it says. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم. Fear your Lord. Why you fear your Lord? Because as a human, you're nothing. As a human, you came from a drop of semen. As a human, you are on this earth with what? Humans are on this earth, but they have limited abilities. Earthquakes come here, coronavirus come here, earthquake, corona, flood, rain. How many people die? Thousands. We cannot even help ourselves. We cannot protect ourselves. And that's what God is keep reminding us. Our abilities are limited. So fear Him. When you put your trust in a powerful, if you are in a trial and you've been accused of something, and you have your trust in one of the most successful lawyers who never lose a case, anything will happen. Anything the prosecution will bring up, you will not worry, because you know your lawyer will handle it for you. That is exactly the same thing. When people have the trust in Allah, when you have the trust in your Lord, when you do everything accordingly, remember that lawyer, you're going to have to pay him a retainer so he can represent you. And sometimes the biggest lawyers, what happened? You have to pay up huge. His hourly rate is so high. And that's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala the most you sacrifice, the most you do everything He asks you to do, the more sincerity you will have, He will represent you. إن الله يدافع عن الذين آمنوا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect those who have belief in Him. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, once you do He will take care of you. That's why the people who have Iman, when it comes to the hereafter, when it comes to the hour, when it comes to the shaking on the earthquake, when it comes to the anything happens, they're not worried. What's gonna happen? I'm gonna go meet my lawyer in his office. I can say anything. It's fine. He'll help me. He helped me all the time. I paid my dues. I'm not worried. I paid him. That's what it is. If we will take care of what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what God have told us to do in this life, and how we treat others, how we say the truth, how we will become steadfast, how we will become on the straight path, He will see blessings coming down on us. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Ya ayyuhan nas, for all mankind, fear Allah. Inna zalzalat as-sa'a shay'un azim. Indeed, the shaking of the earth is a huge, is an enormous sin. Why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is mentioning that? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving us a little bit on earth here. When an earthquake happened, you see how the fear of the people. You see people run. You see the streets collapse. The people leave their home, and although the earthquake has ended, but they have fear. It's continuous. Earthquakes are tough. People who experience earthquakes, the memory, they can't. The memory cannot escape their mind. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is bringing earthquakes here on earth to just show us a sample of what He has. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala show us here we have fire on earth, a sample of what He has. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala showing us, oh, these are samples of what will happen. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Inna zalzalat as-sa'a. The shaking of that day, when the hour comes, when the end of the earth, preparing the earth for rebuilding and recreation, and things comes back up for the judgment. That's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say. That day of the shaking, or that day on the earth, when the hour come, is surely a very dreadful thing. What's gonna happen at that day? The day you see it, every nursing mother, because of that shaking, because that like that people are afraid. Every nursing mother, she will leave her child, her kid, leave. Everybody will say, me, myself. She will abandon her kid. وتضع كل ذات حمل حملها. If a mother is pregnant, she will deliver. وَتَرَى النَّاسَ سُكَارَى. And you will see the people, they look like drunk, but they're not drunk. You know, the drunk person, disoriented, under the influence, exactly the same thing. Because people are like, everybody will be bringing back his memories. Uh-oh, what's happening right now is death. Now is the hour is coming. The day judgment is going to follow. Now it's what's going to happen to me. He's bringing back all of his memories, what I have done. Did I live my life according to what Allah has revealed? According to the King on the heaven and the earth? According to the Quran? According to Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam message? Did I? Or I was playing? Remember the surah before, the chapter before 21 started with the hour have come, اقترب للناس حسابهم, the day judgments have come, وهم في غفلة يلعبون, and the people are still in their playing, they're still in their nap, they're still in their coma, playing, after running after the temptations, and running after the lust. So now everybody is thinking, wow, what was going to happen to me? That's why people are disoriented. ولكن عذاب الله شديد. And indeed, ولكن عذاب الله شديد. The punishment of the Lord is severe. So Allah, what is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us? He's telling us that all these people who will have the fear, all these people who will have the worried, as we said, the believer will never gonna worry. The believer, he's never gonna even care. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Imagine if you, after years and years and years, you're calling somebody or you're talking to somebody on the phone long distance. You can't see him. You can't. You only talk to him or sending him messages, text messages. He's also sending you text messages, but in signs. You'll know. You text him, he respond to you. Text him, respond to you. Text him, respond to you. You want to see this you want to see this entity, this person. You want to see him. Where is this guy? And that's what the believer is. He's serving God. He's serving his master all this life. And when the day of the hour or the judgment is going to come, what will happen with that believer? You want to see his Lord. You want to see his King. You want to see the one who was worshiping him. You want to see the one who has the qualities and attributes of mercy, of love, of caring. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's what the person want to see. That's why he's have peace. I'm fine. And he's looking for it. من أحب لقاء الله أحب الله لقاءه. Whoever is looking forward to see or the day to meet his Lord love to meet him. So all these people who are disoriented, all these people who are acting in panic, cannot control their emotions, all of them scared, What's going to happen? Azab Allah shadid. Means that they are not prepared. You see, in a test or an exam, two different students. One student who's panic, one student who's crying before the test or in the test, but another student who's confident, who's going to the exam. He studied. He knows what's the exam, what's on the exam. He's confident of what he has done from studying. He's confident about his actions. This is what the believer. He's confident. I studied. I did what Allah asked me to do. I took care of my parents. I took care of my family. I worshipped Allah. I never cheated. I never lied. I never fornicated. I never. Why I would be worried for? Why should I be worried? The others will have the doubts, who did everything which the devil, which their temptations, which the ego, which is the desires, which is their lust, have pushed them to do. You are the one who are having hard time. وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَن يُجَادِلُ فِي اللَّهِ بِغَيْرِ عِلْمٍ وَيَتَّبِعُ كُلَّ شَيْطَانٍ مَرِيدٍ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala explaining who will receive that severe punishment. Number one, among those who will be the people are argue. Where is God? It doesn't exist. The whole universe came out of nowhere. Argue about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. بغير علم. They don't have the knowledge. They don't have, when the proof come to them, they ignore it. When the evidence come to them in front of them, which makes sense, 100% sense, they ignore it. They brush it under the carpet. They don't want to hear it. Their ego, their desires, their self-interest, that's what's putting that veil. They're veiling. They cannot see the truth. بغير علم. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He said, one of the reasons, these people, because there is a devil who's keep whispering to them and they're following him. Nightclub, let's go. Fornication, let's go. Nudity, let's go. Porn sites, let's go. Lying, let's go. Cheating, let's go. Anything, let's go. And that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, following the devil, who was rebellious. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, كُلَّ شَيْطَانٍ مَرِيدٍ, a rebellious devil. So one of the things, because the devil, he refused to follow Allah's orders, then this person who following the devil whispers to him to be rebellious. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that when you become rebellious like the devil, you will receive the severe punishment. كتب عليه أنه من تولاه. Whoever will follow the devil, the footsteps of the devil, the whispering of the devil, this which will call you to be rebellious, which will call you to disobey God, to disobey His commandments, to disobey His rulings, His laws. The devil will فإنه يضله. He will misguide him. ويهديه إلى عذاب السعير. Indeed, he will misguide him and lead him to the severe punishment, the severe punishment of the hereafter, the hell, fire. أقول قولي هذا أستغفر الله